Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. In today's video, we are talking Japanese sunscreens. I have tried, tested, and reviewed some of the most available and accessible Japanese sunscreens on the Western market. I'm going to share my thoughts and feelings with you today. I promised I'd do this video on the back of a video I did just discussing Korean sunscreen in general. You know, recently we've had the Purito Sunscreen controversy where Purito, a Korean brand, was found to be advertising an SPF of 50 plus and actually delivering an SPF in independent testing of 19. That left a lot of people's faith in Korean sunscreens and the way that they are regulated and tested a little bit shaken. And so I said, don't write off all Asian skincare because that'd just be totally the wrong thing to do. Each country has its own set of rules, laws, and regulations surrounding skincare in general, but also SPFs. And actually, Japan has some of the tightest and most stringent SPF regulations in the world. And so it's a really great way. I think Japan is a really great way of getting some of that Asian influenced aesthetics, you know, the lightweight, you know, the non-ashy, greasy textures that we love from our Asian sunscreens into your routine. So I thought I'd jump on and share with you some of the products that I've tried. It is a little bit difficult when it comes to Japanese sunscreens to get them everywhere in the world. So I've left some links below if you do want to check any of these products out, understand them a little bit more, try them out for yourself or read the reviews. I've left some links below. It's also quite difficult to verify whether these companies are cruelty-free or not. I excluded Shiseido and the brands which sit below Shiseido as a general rule because as a company they do continue to test on animals themselves as well as testing and providing products to be tested in other locations. So they were a firm pass for me from the start. All the products mentioned here today don't test on animals themselves, but you might want to do a little bit of research as to whether they sell into mainland China, which as we know mandates animal testing. So I won't be calling that out as we go along. I'd encourage people, if that is your primary motivation for purchasing, to do some research into these brands before you do commit to buying. So enough waffle from me, let's get straight into it and talk about what I think is my favorite product from the Japanese skincare market that I've ever found, and that is this. This is the Biore UV Watery Essence. SPF 50 plus. It has been independently tested, so you can have that confidence in the product, and I'll leave links to all of this below. I love this product. This was actually one of the first, I think it was the first Japanese sunscreen I ever tried, and I fell hard. This is like my third or fourth bottle. I love this product because it has all of the pleasant user experience, such as, you know, its lightweight texture. It won't leave ashiness or that white cast on the skin. It spreads really well onto the skin and does give a really good level of protection. So it's just a firm favorite of mine. I would call out, in terms of like how I would rate it, I give it a 9 out of 10. So that's a ding ding and a bit of a third ding. The only thing I think that draws back is it's a small bottle in terms of its size. So when you're talking about cost, is a little bit up there compared to some other products on the market, but I think it's totally worth it. So when this goes on the skin, it applies like a gel, but then it turns into more of a, I'd say it goes onto more of an oily consistency, but then dries completely matte, which is what I look for. I have very oily skin, and so I like for a nice matte finish, which you get with this. It's not that hard matte that you sometimes feel that it almost looks a bit chalky. It's a dewy matte. I might have just invented that, but in a way to explain it, it's matte, but with a dewy finish as well. This does have fragrance in there. I don't mind that. My skin isn't sensitive to fragrance, so I think if it's there to mask some of the chemicals they use in these products, I think it's absolutely fine. But if you are sensitive to fragrance or want to cut it from your routine, I have some fragrance-free options coming on, so look out for those. I love the smell of this. It's not too heavy, it dissipates really nicely, and it just doesn't have a lingering odor, which I think is great. It does contain alcohol. This is something that I think needs a little bit more discussion. I'll link some videos where some skincare influencers talk about ingredients and how they interact with each other. Particularly Lab Muffin does a really great video on this, which I'll link below. Whilst I think if you have super dry skin, you might want to give this one a miss because it does contain alcohol and drying alcohol. Actually, I don't think it's the devil that everyone makes it out to be. You can't just take an ingredient in isolation and say that that's going to have this impact on the skin. You need to look at how it interacts with the other ingredients that are in this product. It has got drying alcohol in here, which is going to give it a much more easily absorbed texture. It's going to spread better, and it's there to just give a nice aesthetic feel. You know, it just improves the quality and the spreadability of the product. Because it's also formulated with glycerin, it's got some really great hyaluronic acid in there, and it's got the royal jelly element in here too. All of that will hydrate the skin and offset some of that dryness that you could get from the drying alcohol. So I wouldn't see the alcohol in isolation and go, this isn't for me. I think you need to consider it as part of the overall formulation. If you have dry skin, this is a miss. But for everybody else, oh, this is just honestly one of my absolute favourite sunscreens. I would definitely recommend you check it out. It's not too expensive and it applies like that. Everything we love about a good Korean sunscreen, you know, that lightweight texture you get in this, the Japanese version, I just think it's an absolutely fantastic product. Now, coming in at number 2, this is the Canmake Mermaid Skin Gel. This has kind of been an Instagram favourite for quite some time, and so I was really reluctant to try it, because I think if everyone's fangirling over something, it's probably the aesthetic that they're looking at, rather than the quality of the product. I tried it, I was totally transformed. This is a really great fragrance and alcohol-free version. So if you're looking for a Japanese sunscreen that doesn't contain fragrance and alcohol, this is a really good option for you. They do 2 formulations. They do a white version and they do a clear version. I only bought the clear version because I don't like anything to look too ashy or white cast on my skin at all, so I gave the white one a miss. So I can't really comment on how it appears on the skin. The clear one, this was just divine. I've seen so many people online say this is really great for people with darker, deeper and richer skin tones. So if that's you, I think this could be a really great option for getting a Japanese sunscreen into your routine, but knowing you're not going to have any of that ashiness or any of that colour altering qualities that some of the SPFs we try and use can do. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous product. Beyond just providing great SPF protection, which should be the number one thing we look for, it looks great on the vanity, but it also has phytic acid in there, which is a fantastic acid for calming, soothing skin. But you've also got a really great root ferment in here. You see ferments often in Asian skincare, and I like to see skincare ingredients like that included in some of our SPFs as well, because whilst SPF's primary reason for existence is protecting us from the sun, having some really nice hydrating qualities, which root ferment is, in there as well, just makes it a really nice and pleasant product to use. Because you haven't got the alcohol in there, you do have to work this into the skin a little bit more than you do the Biore UV essence. I'd say really work this into the skin for maybe 30 seconds to make sure it's all sunk in before you then crack on with the rest of your day. There will be no white cast if you do take that time to work it into the skin, and it's just an overall really nice product to use. I'd say of all of the ones I've tried, this is the one I'd recommend if you have sensitive skin. Because it's alcohol and perfume free, you're not going to risk any dryness or sensitivity, and I think the ingredients in there are really good for people who do suffer with a little skin sensitivity. You get a really great SPF 50 plus protection, and you get some great nice hydrating ingredients thrown in there at the same time. Like, who doesn't want that? Now, coming in at number 3 is the Skin Aqua Tone Up UV Essence. That's quite a mouthful, and you've probably seen this product on Instagram. I was a little bit reluctant to try this because it does have a tint. It's not what you think a tint, you know, often in the West we would tint sunscreens to avoid that white cast. So we tend to give it a little bit of a darker tint to it to offset some of the white cast that you could get from the product. This actually has a lavender tint. So first and foremost, I'd say this is not going to work in the slightest with anyone who has olive or darker skin tones. Lavender can come across super ashy on those skin tones, which is, it's just difficult for it to work, and can often, well, you almost get that purplish, almost greenish hue to the skin, which nobody wants. So absolutely, I wouldn't say this is for anybody other than fair-skinned and skin tones, where it could work really well. The reason I include it on this list is A, it's got the tried and tested seal of approval, so you know you're getting a really good quality SPF. But that tint can actually work really well to give a brightness and a nice glow to the complexion if you have a fairer skin type and tone. If you, like I say, if you have darker skin tones, this is a firm pass. But I'm including it on this list because I do think it would work really well and gives a really nice appearance to the skin. It sinks in really well. Again, you're not going to get too much of that thick, gloopy, greasy feel. It disappears like that and leaves a really nice finish to the skin. If you have a skin tone which is my skin tone or lighter, I think this could be a really nice product to incorporate in your routine. That slight tone to it does give a really nice finish to the skin, and the ingredients in here are really nice in terms of the hydration they'll give. I'd say of all of the ones I mentioned today, this is probably the dewiest finish. You know, the UV Biore Essence is probably the most matte, and this is probably the most dewy of all of the ones out there. So if you want that slight glow to the skin, that little glisten, this could work really, really well for you. It's so well priced. Again, I've left links, but it is so well priced. I would say if you have a darker skin tone and want to try an amazing Japanese SPF, go for that Mermaid Skin Gel. That will leave no ashiness and no white cast, and has been recommended by so many people who have tried it on darker skin tones. If you have a lighter skin tone and want to get some added brightness from your product, this could be a real firm favourite in an instant. I really like the product. I'm sticking with the Biore UV Essence because I think on my skin, I can get brightness from my skin from some of the other serums and things I put on. I don't necessarily look for that in a finish, in a sunscreen finish, but this is a really nice product to use. Now, it's really difficult to get Japanese sunscreens here in the West. Hopefully that's going to change over 2021 as we do see more international products available. But those were the three that I could get my hands on and try. I also tried something which is a huge craze in Asia at the moment, which is sunscreen supplements. So the idea behind this is that you take a supplement every single day and that increases your body's natural ability to fight off the harmful rays of the sun. I tried these because I was intrigued, and then I did some research into it, and this is not an approved method of getting sun protection by any of the main agencies, either in Japan or here in the UK, the US. So this is a firm pass for me. So I won't be sharing the ones I used because I just don't want to give the impression that these are in any way going to give you a guaranteed level of sun protection. But I tried them because I thought it was definitely something which is emerging from the Asian skincare market and something we should be aware of. So I just want to call it out because these are not tried and tested, and so I wouldn't actually recommend you purchase them and use them as your main source of sun protection. So there you are, guys. Those are the 3 Japanese sunscreens I could get my hands on and try. I would love to hear your recommendations. So leave me a comment below, any that you've tried, tested, and loved. I was super impressed with these. All of them offer something a little bit different. You know, often sunscreens are all, one size fits all. You try them and they're all very similar. These all had something uniquely different, whether it's something that's super matte from the Biore finish, or you want something that's slightly tinted, which we could offer as well. There's something for everybody, from the darkest, richest, deepest skin tones through to the lightest, palest. Something for everyone. So I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye.